Welcome to WWB Worldwide Broadcast. We're back again, guys. We just last time we were talking to Tommy. Today, Tommy and all of the ward staff decided to drop a big bomb on the whole community, and they came out with a new limited band list. I know there was a little bit of some chatter in the Discord already. Some people are liking it, some people are hating it, and I thought, what a great topic for us to cover. We might as well just get our takes on it. So we're going to go around. Everyone's going to kind of give their opinion. First, maybe just like what their initial reaction was looking at it, and then we'll kind of go like card by card of all the cards that like got added to the limited list or maybe taken off the limited list. Thank you, Billy. Cutting in there. I like it. Just kidding. But all right. So let's just get our first initial thoughts on it. Tyler, do you wanna go?
Actually, I'll give it to Billy first.
Oh no, please.
He wants me to go first.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, Wrath the Old Ones got added to the limited list. Can only have one. Irresistible Love also added to the limited list. Can only have one. And then Angel was taken off. Watcher on the Wall was taken off. There's one more that was added. Correct? Or am I wrong? Judgment, yeah. Judgment. Yeah. Other bounce card. And bounce card also added to the limited list. Very interesting. I think one thing that'll come up, this is actually
God, yawn it out.
Yeah.
Get the bingo card out. Every time Tyler yawns, that's gotta be in every podcast, I swear.
Yeah. There's already another one queued up. But so the one thing that I was thinking about when I was thinking about all this changes and even the Maniac change in the past is there's kind of two ways that you can patch your game or change your game. And I guess there's no right way to do it. The one is kind of one way that Riot does it, or League of Legends. They have a patch that happens every 2 weeks, and because of that, in Pro League of Legends, when there's things that are strong, they're strong for 2 weeks at a time, but not strong for too long because they get figured out or changed before they can be strong for too long. And then there's the way that games like StarCraft 2 have done it in the past, where they patch their game like twice a year, so like once every 6 months. When this happens, things come up, so at the start of a patch, things will come up that'll be strong, but because there isn't like a patch coming, people have to figure out a way to beat it. Something like could be super strong, and then instead of waiting for it to get changed, they would find a counter. So, I mean, maybe this thing would be really strong, and then a month down the line, something would be stronger than that could beat that strong thing. And then eventually that really strong thing is now like there's 10 different ways to play against it because people found different ways and had to think about ways to play against it. And it seems like I don't know, the game is being looked at in kind of like a reactionary way. So when things are strong, I think they want to change things quick before people get upset or, don't want to play the game anymore. But I think they can give time for people to find a way to counter things and actually find counterplay against cards instead of just making things limited.
Yeah, I kind of I agree with your sentiment. I guess for me, like I always think like back to like the first card game I got into was Yu-Gi-Oh, and kind of like you were saying for like the whole way that they would they have a limited and ban list in Yu-Gi-Oh too. But what they would do is it was probably like every like 3 or 4 months. They usually post a new like limited ban list for all the cards that they've added to the game, and anything that gets too strong that they usually ban it. But I will say like as Yu-Gi-Oh progressed, they definitely like at first they were like very quick to like ban things. They were like, nope, this is too strong, let's just get rid of this. But then like over time they kind of learned that it was like, hey, like let's just let, a couple tournaments go by, let things, see where everything settles first, just see how strong this is. And if no one can come out with like a way to beat it, then then maybe we'll think about like limiting it or banning it. So like I agree with you. I personally get a little worried when it feels like kind of like they were saying in the Discord, like Boodle brought up, it's just like people have that really like gut reaction of like, I hate this or I love this. And it's just like, yeah, it's okay to have people have those feelings, but like let the time settle. Let's just see what exactly it looks like, right, before we just like start to get pitchforks and start to get all upset. But
well, before Billy gets in here too, with Wrath the Old Ones or Judgment, I mean, there wasn't even, where has it really dominated a tournament? I mean, Harry ran it obviously in his deck with his Alknost, but everybody else in the tournament, no one was running that card. Last tournament, nobody had it in their decks. It's like, I get it, like at times it can extend the game and make games take longer, but at the same time, like I don't think it's so like, strong that it needs to be limited to one. I think it's just kind of like an unfair, knee-jerk reaction. And I mean, I'm a broken record at this point, but same thing with Maniac. We literally nerfed him before he ever got to see any of Gen 1, which makes it like, I don't even think he would be that strong right now, even without his effect. And maybe it was a good thing, but I don't know. I
think something you bring up too, or not, maybe you didn't bring it up, but like in Gen 2, it wasn't like Maniac couldn't be beaten. Yes, was it very strong? I mean, yes, I would say with like the card pool, it probably was on the higher end, but it could still lose. And I think, like you said, I don't think they gave it enough time to like you said, let people try to find natural ways to counter this card, right? It's like, let's find natural ways to do this before we just instantly like hit the ruling on it. But again,
and before it even happened, I mean, I played it against Billy and he played Scarlet, and I got completely washed in that entire. So I mean, obviously it's a promo card, so it's kind of unfair in that aspect. But still, there's a card that completely ruins the way that I played my deck. So it's like, I don't know. You give it a little bit more time. Iron Range was starting to come around. Gen 1 was starting to come around. Like, I don't know. It's just like, just give it a little bit more time. I understand people get upset and their reactions are like not positive, but it's like, even, I don't know, like the only one on this list, or I guess, I don't know. I don't really agree with Wrath or Judgment, but Irresistible Love, like maybe, but
well, let's give Billy some room. Here,
yeah,
let's hear the Billy side. I'm excited to hear what Billy's take is.
All right, I will have strong reactions because A, I love the game and I care a lot about it, and B, I've had friends of mine, quit playing because of this exact reason, exact things that's going on right now. So let's break it down. It is hard to play and enjoy a card game or any game really when the rules change and the goalposts move, right? And so you could say, well, it's a limited list, you should have it. It's like it's in every card game. Yeah, I agree with that. But in other card games, it's on a scheduled time. It's like once or twice a year, and people know when it's coming. And it's usually in the context of like a season or whatever. That's fine. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has had to have, I mean, they've been running for 20 years and they've had to have 2 emergency ban lists where they like all of a sudden in the middle had to run in like at it after like a tournament. But in both of those instances, what had happened is that in the tournament scene, there were many, many, many tournaments in a row where 80% of the people were playing the same freaking deck and using the same freaking combo.
That is right.
People... Yeah, you played Yu-Gi-Oh! I did too, and I played early. So they can look at that and say, okay, 80% of these players are running the same thing, and they're running it because it's broken. Not good, broken. But we need to change that. I get that. I completely understand that. My biggest gripe with the limited ban list change as of Monday is that A, we have been in this format for 88 days. You're not even knowing the 90-day evaluation period. You can get fired for no reason. They said, yep, let's change it. And B, there was hardly any data to support it. Now, you could say, okay, Irresistible Love, I can respect the decision. I don't agree with it, but I can respect it because we've had essentially 9 months of tournament play from all the way to the beginning of Gen 2, and you can look at everyone's deck and say, yep, everyone ran 3 if they could, and most of the top decks had 2 or 3 in it, but mostly 3. And people can complain about it, and you can go and point to that and say, yep, there's a data point. That makes sense. Okay, I can respect that.
Real
Wrath and
quick,
Judgment?
just to
Yeah.
cover Irresistible a little better. I think a big sentiment too about Irresistible is I think just in general with like even just like casual play, I think it is just a card in my, at least for my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong with this, but like even casual play, I feel like it's not a very fun card for people to be like, oh, here, I'm gonna play this card. Now you don't get to play anything if you can't counter this, and it's just like I don't know. I think maybe
For half a turn. For half a turn cycle.
okay. Well, or it could be
We did the math. And
could be
we already
long.
did, so
I
we don't
mean,
have
we've
to-
all
you
had
could-
times. I mean, obviously, I agree. I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to say the card is ridiculous, but I'm just saying it inherently stops your opponent from getting to do things. And I think even in like in a casual scene, that is kind of hard. And like, I agree. Play like I know that the Ward staff harps on it a lot in casual, whatever your home rules are. Play however you want. If you want all the limited cards to be unlimited or anything like that, like you go and do
Yeah,
that. But again, I know we're a little focused on tournament play, and like I'll let you take it back over, Billy. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like hijack it, but just
No, it's okay.
obviously
We're
we
having
are
a
very
discussion.
focused on competitive play, so it's like I don't want, it's like I get the casual. Do whatever you want in casual, but like this effect, we want to make sure competitive feels good, right? And like that's kind of where we're at with it, right? I'm
Sure.
assuming.
Okay. So that's fine. So there is a lot of data to support. Maybe we limit Irresistible Love because they could say people rely on it too much. They could say that 7 turns, even though it only happens 0.2% of the time, it feels bad. Like you can point to all those reasons, and they can say, well, at least I could say, well, there's a lot of data points, so I can agree with that. I work at a data-driven job. That's my job, right? Wrath of Judgment. You tell me what data there is. I'll
Right.
tell you there was exactly one that ran Wrath and Judgment, and he is sitting on this call. And yes, that deck won a tournament. But has it been played since? Maybe. Has it won a tournament since? No. In fact, if you look at Sunday's tournament, winner had 0 Wraths, 0 Judgments. They had 3 Irresistible Love, so I'll give you that. So Jesse had 3, I get that. So limit Irresistible Love. Limit Wrath and Judgment? I don't see any data for it. And that's my biggest gripe with it. Also, we're changing the format with less than 40 days to Ward Bowl. Okay, so now all of this data of we've been playing, how the format has with, unlimited Wrath, unlimited Judgment, unlimited Irresistible Love, the game now changes, and now you have to redo your decks and reconsider your counters and reconsider your strategies. And I just don't think that's very healthy.
Yeah. I think your biggest point is back to like how you're saying like, oh, at like 80%, if 80% of the players at a tournament were running the same deck, that's where I think
I can agree with that.
Right, that is where I
agree
think
with
the
that.
problematic thing comes from. Like you said, it just feels like you're right. There isn't a lot of data. It's like, okay, there's one deck, it did win. Maybe it is strong, but no one else even got to attempt to try it to see what exactly, if there was counters, if there was anything to it. I mean, is that how you kind of feel, Tyler, or do you have a different take on it, like with the whole like kind of the points Billy was making?
Sorry, of course, right during a yawn. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah, like with Wrath and Judgment, yeah, with Irresistible Love, there's a lot more time and a lot more evaluation, like period of time that you're able to do with the card, and you're able to see it interact with just Gen 2 and now in the mix. Where with Judgment and Wrath, it's like, yeah, like I don't know,
We didn't even get a
like
chance.
Billy said, 88 days, and it's like not even, I don't know, even you bring back Maniac. At least with that, it's like you had me and a couple other people playing this deck and winning multiple tournaments over and over and over again. This deck was in, or this card was in one tournament deck and won that tournament and hasn't been seen since. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's
very
no
odd.
data
I
to
guess-
support it. Yeah,
To,
it's extremely reactionary.
Well, and one of the other quick things I wanted to mention too is we have been playing with these cards for 9 months. So over the course of this entire season of whatever award you want to call it, we have played with these cards. and now we are removing them before the highest tournament where the best players, the top 20 ranked players, are coming to play that we have also played with the entire time, including promos, by the way. So that brings up that.
We're not there yet. So hold back.
Yeah, just a little thing. It's like top 20 people should probably have promos because they had to go to tournaments to get them. But it's like when we are playing at the highest tier of this game, and we've been playing for 9 months with Irresistible Love, and then 1 month before the highest tournament of the entire year comes up, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're changing it. It's like, well, that kind of sucks. It feels bad. You know, like we would have felt better if you waited till after the Ward Bowl at least. Like,
right.
If you're gonna make that like changes like that.
No, and
you know, we've had months to practice in the format, and then 40 days before.
Well, and then it feels super bad. It feels extremely bad for someone like Harry, where it's just like these are 2 cards that he would probably want to run 3 of, and both of like in his Alkanos deck, where he'd want 3 Judgment, 3 Wrath the Old Ones. Harry could obviously argue he's the deck builder, but it's like he can't do that now. So that obviously inherently makes Alkanos worse before the most important tournament of the year. So it's like you can only imagine how he has to feel. Like,
and sorry, Harry, and also it's not like there's some like magical combo out there that we haven't explored yet. The developers made cards in the game to counter bounce. They made Heroism, which was in Gen 1. They added Lead Boots, which is a common card. Everybody has it.
And Heroism is showing up in a lot of decks right now. Like, a Heroism against Alkanos. Not only do they not get the Wrath of the Old Ones bounce, they don't get Flame of the Infinite. So all these people that are running Heroism in their deck can benefit from having it in their deck with their creatures, can also be playing it against Alkanos or any deck that has bounce. Which makes it, like, I don't know, you just give it more time. Like Billy said, Lead Boots, that's another card. And there's probably several others. Steam Spider, like, I don't know.
I think I'm just going to tie everything together. It sounds like unanimously, I think, yeah, Irresistible Love, from what it sounds like, it had a reason to maybe be hit. And like you said, it does suck that it's a little bit right before the War Bowl, but like, we have seen a lot of how this card, and like you said, I think they're showing us that it's like this is something they're probably trying to work their way away from. And then obviously, the only thing that I want to bring up about Wrath that I know, obviously, Billy, we talked about from like Gen 1, the original, like they basically had problems with it then.
They already nerfed it.
Right. But again, it's like I just think they already had problems with it. So like I think they didn't get the outcome maybe that they were looking for when it came to how Wrath worked now. And so it's like
but what data?
I agree. I'm
One tournament? Is that enough data?
I'm just putting the counter. I'm just trying to give some more, more information just to maybe like explain things, right? It's like I'm not saying that this is what I agree with, but it is what I'm just trying to say is like there are maybe some things have been problematic, and it's like they might just had that reaction just because of like they're like, dang, we already tried to fix this once, it's not hitting the way we wanted it to hit, and maybe it's like, maybe this card just needs like to kind of be gone, or like,
yeah, but it's more just asking for it's more just asking for like consistency. Like, what makes a card like worthy to be limited? How many things does it need to? How many tournaments does it need to win? Does it need to be win 4 tournaments before it needs to be limited? Does it need to win 1 tournament where it smoked everybody in the competition? Does it like what are the requirements for a card to be limited, and how can we make it consistent? So where it's like, if we see this card, it's like, oh yeah, that card is probably going to be limited because it's won 3 tournaments already. Like, or this, like, I don't know. Like I said, the only 2 examples we have is like Maniac versus this. Maniac won like 4 tournaments, so it's like I can get it. Yeah, at that point, maybe it should. This one won and then hasn't been seen since. Like,
but so in my opinion, Gen 2 from August to January was the healthiest the game's ever been, and it's because we didn't freaking touch the rules. We let people play the game, explore the cards, and figure out counterplay.
Yeah, and Maniac, I believe that it was at the cusp of getting countered. Like, Billy found Scarlet, like I said, a promo, but Iron Range was on the meta. There was things that you could do. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah. The top 3, the last Gen 2 tournament, the top 3 places didn't have a Maniac, weren't running they weren't running Maniac, right? And then the tournament before that, it didn't win top, it was second. And then before that, so like the counter had been found and there was even more to be explored. But, that
on top of
depth,
another whole set coming out to mix in. Like that would have changed everything. Like what happens to Maniac when Bounce is there? Like
yeah, you're erasing depth from the game that is very fun and very purposeful, and you're just erasing it for the reaction. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's almost
there's no
making
explanation.
I just want to make sure it's not a. I would say it's a racing, but you're definitely, like you said,
it is a racing though.
Consistency. No, because these
but it's making the game. It's making
the
game easier because it's taking things that you have out of your toolbox. Like you have 10 tools. Now we have 9. Like there's. You know what I mean? Like that is a thing that hurts when you're.
It's worse
you're
than that
in the
because
kitchen.
it's exponential because
You're
having
baking. You
access
can't
to
bake with
multiple
eggs
wraths
anymore. Like
or multiple judgments or multiple irresistible loves allowed you to build certain types of decks. And because
it'd be.
Those decks are erased, and also the counters to those decks are erased. So you
It'd
are
be like
literally erasing depth of the game.
It'd be like in an equipped. It'd be like in an equipped deck if you took Foggy Knight and made that limited. Like, okay, now equipped decks are dead. Can't build them.
It's more, but it's more than equipped decks, right? Because Foggy Knight's used for way more than equips. It's used for a plethora of other things. And now there's counters to that. And if you're saying, "Well, I'm going to limit Foggy Knight," because then you're erasing all of that.
Sorry, I just want to give. I just want to give some benefit of the doubt to the ward staff. It's like I understand the perspective, and it's like I do agree. It's like yes, maybe they were preemptively hit, but like I said, maybe I can understand they might have a stronger vision of like this is how we want our game to feel. So it's like I want to try to give them a little bit of leeway. It's like hey, they have already seen Gen 1. It's not like these are a brand new set. It's like these cards did exist, and I feel like they're you're right. They use Gen 2 to kind of like balance out Gen 1 as well, but I think, on top of it, they just want to make sure that Gen 1 has more of a feel of how Gen 2 felt, where it's just like standalone, this shouldn't feel like it's like two separate games, right? It's like Gen 1 should not feel separate from Gen 2, I guess, if you get what I'm saying. Like,
if you want to make it feel more like Gen 2, don't touch the rules. They didn't touch the rules in Gen 2, and everybody loved it.
Yeah, and it also makes decks inherently stronger too, like AL12 decks, like we have talked in the past, like they are moving towards making AL12 stronger. So like, I don't know. I mean, this inherently makes them better because that was a way that they got countered really hard was by bouncing them.
Yeah, but like you said,
but it's like
I still think there's bounce.
We don't know. There's
still bounce.
But
there's still bounce in the game, and like I said,
and heroism.
They are limited. Like I said, they are limited. They're not gone. Like you can still run them at a tournament, but like
but it's 6 versus 2. Like that's a big difference.
Know that you could build certain types of decks with 3 and 3 versus 1 and 1, or even 1 and 3.
I'm not saying
because it's like you just
eliminate.
Like you said,
you just gotta think about all of like just the odds and like what a 1 in like 5 versus having 2 of those cards in your deck does.
And I know we talked about this on a different episode too, but it's like I just remember my take was kind of like here, in my perfect world. Yes, we shouldn't have a limited list. Everything should, if you're talking about like perfect balance, everything should be at 3, and that like should run the way the game.
But I just don't think that works because like you want limited cards to be in the game because cards like Holy Light, Visitor from Beyond, Ghost from the Past, those cards are fantastic. Junk Scarecrow, Mysterious Door, those can only be in the game because there's a limited list, and because of that, I like the limited list. But when you are moving cards that shouldn't be on the limited list to the limited list before you have the knowledge or the reasoning to put the cards on the limited list, we shouldn't be doing that. Or maybe talk to the top players. Like Irresistible Love is, I know Billy doesn't really agree with me, but at least that one had a little bit more time, and we have talked about that card much more than we have talked about Wrath of the Old Ones and Judgment on this podcast. Like we talked about that for the first like fucking 5 episodes. Like I get it, that card is strong and probably at an uncommon level should be limited. Even Wrath like that, but Judgment, like I don't know, I just can't get behind either of those, like Judgment or Wrath. Wrath's like even also closer to understandable, but Judgment's a legendary. Like why can't you have and they do completely different things. They do completely different things. Like one of them, like yeah, sure, they both bounce. One of them takes your is great for an equip deck because guess what? It takes all of your equipment and your creature and puts it back in your deck. Judgment is like the anti-equip because you put it, you bounce your creature, all that shit falls off and gets blown up. Like they do completely different things, even though they're both inherently bounce cards. Like I don't know.
Yep.
Whatever, brother.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Boodle. He said spicy episode already, my guys. Spitting bars. So shout out to Boodle.
Hey, Boodle.
Hey, I got one more thing to add.
Okay,
before we move on.
Okay, well, we're not going to move on just yet because there's a couple more things I want to cover. Sorry, but I guess I just want to top it off with the things that got added to the list. At least from what my perspective is why didn't they add all the bounce cards? Is the fact that Wrath and Judgment are the only two bounce cards that also hit your board too. It also bounces your creatures back, which again is that mechanic that I was kind of saying of like resetting your board. So it's like I think if I was to look at it, like I think that maybe that's the mechanic that they're more focused on with these cards, why they hit the limitless and it wasn't just bounce in general. I don't know how you guys feel about that. That's something I noticed is that Wrath affects your board too, so does Judgment. Both of those bounce your creatures. So I don't know. Do you think that's why they focus on those cards?
Let's just say this one sentence. Probably a feature, not a bug. It was probably on purpose.
Well, of course it's on purpose.
Well, like I said, it just...
I mean, that's just a theory, Harry, because there's no data to back it up. You use tournaments to gather data.
I know. I'm not saying they should have hit it. I just think the idea of why they hit them is because of the fact that in the card text it also bounces your board with like your creatures with their creatures. Because like I said, that or else why didn't they hit Terrifying Roar? Why didn't they hit Foolish Tricks? Why it's like
they were already nerfed.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm just was trying to get a last little piece in there. All right. I like the talk. I like where everyone's at. The only other things that I want to bring up is still Angel, Visitor from Beyond, or not Visitor, sorry, Watcher in the Wall, and then what was the other one that came off was that just those two?
No, just those two.
Okay, yeah. So how do we feel about Angel coming off, and how? I mean, I know we had the other podcast. We kind of had a very long talk about these things with when Alec Kermit was on. So it's like, what's our thoughts with those? I think we're probably all in the same camp. I think. Well, let's go around. Billy, how do you feel about both those gone off the limited list?
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I think Watchers. I think. Oh, I was gonna say I think Watchers is just fine. Like that card is. I don't know.
Yeah, Billy. Sorry, take it back, Billy.
Well, there's data. There's data to support putting them back off limited because mechanically it doesn't make a problem. It doesn't break the game like it might have used to. And B, out of all the tournaments, I think I saw Angel 2 or 3 times, nowhere near the top of the tournament, and Watcher literally not in anybody's deck. So there's ample data to say, maybe if we take these off, people will play with them, and it doesn't break the game, so let's let it go. Again,
doesn't break the game yet.
Data-driven decisions are easier to understand and like easier to work with because I can work with that. I can see it coming. I can understand the logic. But if you just fart one day and say, you know what, Judgment, like, how is that? There's no consistency, like Tyler said. And my last thing to say is that, and now because we have the data of Judgment and Wrath of the Old Ones was played in one tournament and won one tournament. And after that, they got limited. So now I have to now curate my deck of if I have cards I want to play with in the Ward Bowl, I can't play with them in the regular tournament play because the Ward staff may wake up one day and say, that won a tournament, I'm going to limit that too. And now I can't play for the Ward Bowl. So now I have to save decks for the Ward Bowl and not play them in regular tournament play. And I can't test them. And that feels bad. What are you choking about?
Well, like you said, I think, yeah, this might be an oversight from them, like you said, hitting things kind of like preemptively. Like I said, I think they have a thought. There's definitely a thought there, and I'd love to talk to them about it. Like I said, it would have been interesting to have Tommy on before, if they released this and then we got Tommy on. That would have been probably a pretty fun talk. I would have felt bad for he might have been in the hot seat for a little bit in that conversation. But
well, I mean, it's not Tommy is not the one making all the decisions for the limited list. He gives his
Yeah,
input,
no,
and so
I
does Joe, and
agree.
so does Q, and so does Marty. It's a team decision.
Yeah, it's a team
I
decision, of
agree.
course,
But like you
to
said, I just
together.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like you said, I think they, in their minds, at least from what I can take from it, it looks like, set or like generation 1 was kind of like, the test run. It was just what they threw together, and it's like I'm sure the way they look at Ward, they know that there's cards in Gen 1 that maybe don't really fit the mold of what the Ward version that they want, and they're trying to get it more to that version. And it's just like, I'm trying to be as positive with it as I can. Like I said, I have my gripes too. I do think, Wrath might have needed a little more play. I do think, like, Judgment, I don't know. Like, even at that tournament with Judgment, I don't know, like, how effective it really even was. I feel like I didn't play it all that much, but...
Harry, I was even going to say, did you even ever get to play Judgment?
Even in our game, even in our games, it didn't come up that often. Wrath was way more of a thing that was
Judgment
happening.
Was in the deck, never got played. So essentially,
Not really.
Was never played at all in this.
All right, Billy. All right, yes, I know. All right, you're making a point. Okay, we're gonna move on, but I like the talk, and I think everybody else will really enjoy the talk.
I did want to add a little bit to the salty Splatoon, since this is the salty episode. At the tournament on Sunday, I was a little bit sad. When I walked into the tournament, a lot of people were giving me shit for like showing up, because obviously I do pretty well at tournaments and stuff. So they were disappointed that I was there because they didn't want me to win. And I guess, I don't know, that made me sad, considering I didn't even win the tournament. So I would like that to not happen again, especially...
Yeah,
tournament.
I will say, Billy, you weren't there.
Store.
Yeah, it was just, people. I think people were just trying to get, they had their feels, and they're just like, oh, they're kind of like, why didn't, they're like, why did you show up? Like, you don't have to win every tournament.
Why did you show up? It's like, a freaking tournament.
Said, I get it. People are just, they got their feelings. But
tournaments
it's like,
are not charity.
I would say, yeah, let's just be respectful to people. It's like, hey, like, we're all here, we're all committed, we're all giving our time. We should try to be as positive as we can. I get giving people some crap sometimes. Like, I give people crap too sometimes, but like, it's like, let's just make sure that, there's positivity. I know everybody pushes it a lot, and it's like, even in the Discord, it's like, that's one of the rules, positivity. So it's just like, let's just be positive. It's like, we're all here to have fun and enjoy the game. And yeah, I do feel for you, Tyler. Like I said, yeah, it was something that did happen. And just going forward,
yeah, definitely something that caught me off guard, especially since like that's my store that I go to buy Ward, and like literally. That's my store. It's like 10 minutes from my house, so
yeah,
felt pretty bad. It's like, of all the tournaments to show up, I'm gonna be at this one. Not sure.
No, and we get it, and like I said, I think people will figure that out going forward. It's like, yeah, I get we're all competitors. I'm a competitor, when I'm in the match with you, you better believe I'm gonna be giving you my all. But it's just like, hey, at the end of it, it's fun. It's a game. Like, we should all just be happy that we get to all enjoy this thing together.
Yeah, and for me, like, I want the best. I want every single of one of the best players to be at every single tournament, so I know that when I won, or how well I placed, I had to win against the best people in the game. That, I don't know, that brings me comfort. Like, I don't know.
I agree. Like you said, it's like, if you win against people that that they put their heart and their time into it, it's like that's why that's the whole competitive, experience. That's the whole reason why we all play, and why we're all so competitive and hard in this game, and why we like this, why Ward is our game. And so, yeah, I agree with you. But, let's just move on with the promos. I think Billy definitely wanted to talk about the promo cards, and maybe his understanding of
from one fire to another.
Going forward with Ward tournaments. Some people in the Discord are under the impression that, promo cards might just be like a thing that don't exist in official tournaments, which I guess... seeing how, like, you guys were kind of bringing up with the whole limited list, it's like, these are cards that we've been playing with the whole time, and it's just like, we've just kind of, through thick or thin, through tournaments of where it's Scarlet versus Scarlet, people have had to sit through and watch how these cards shape the meta. So it's like, I'm kind of curious, I know that the next couple tournaments coming up here, the online tournament, or Untapped tournament, sorry, and then the Ward Bowl, it sounds like there's a potential that there isn't going to be promo cards allowed. So it's like definitely changes the whole environment of the game. So it's like, what's your guys' thoughts on it? Billy, we'll start with you.
Well, let's start off by saying there's no meta because you can't have a meta if your format only lasts less than 90 days. So, okay. Promos not being so. First off, we don't know. There is no official announcement that there's no promos in the Ward Bowl, so we can start there. They may be, they may not be. We do know that for the Untapped tournament next week, that they are banned promo cards, all promo cards, and it was announced essentially a day before registration that they're banned. So that feels a little bad because if you're practicing and prepping your deck, and then all of a sudden, let's say you had 3 promo cards you wanted to use, and now maybe your deck hinged on it a little bit, and then they come out and say, "Sorry, they're banned. Also, registration's tomorrow." It's like, well, okay, thanks for that.
Well, just to bring that point up, like the guy KC, a newer guy that started playing, he's been playing for about a month. Like his deck that I played at Globe had 4 promos in it. Like if that's the deck he wants to play front tap, sucks.
Sucks to be him.
Gotta take him out.
Sorry.
But anyways, continue.
Yeah. So your prep is completely destroyed. You have to retool at a last minute and hope that it works. And maybe you don't have the card, or maybe you wanted to trade for the card that you needed that to replace a promo. And well, shoot, I have to be registered by Friday. I set up a trade, and we both mailed our cards out on today. Maybe I'll get it by Friday, and even if I do get it Friday, if it's afternoon, you're not registered for the tournament. So like, it just, I don't know, that it feels hard to excuse that one. Now, me personally, I wasn't going to play with the promo anyway. It doesn't matter too much to me because my deck didn't rely on it. It makes my preparation easier because now I don't have to worry about Scarlet. I don't have to worry about Egg-Taroth. I don't have to worry about any of these other cards. I could just ignore them and completely eliminate that depth from the game. And my prep. So, and then recording the Ward Bowl, it's like, let's say they do. It feels, and I've had like some discussions with other people as well on the Discord. It feels really bad because of the precedent it sets. We just had a sale for a bunch of boss decks, and many people bought most to all of them because of the promo cards.
Well, to get in on the hype, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you get in on the hype. I don't buy promo cards to have colorful pieces of paper in my drawer. I buy them to play with the cards. And if you're going to tell me, hey, they're just colorful pieces of paper now, you can play with them at home, but you can't use them in tournament play. And you say, well, actually, you can use them in tournament play like throughout the season, but in the climax of all the tournaments where it matters the most, you can't use those. It's like, well, then I don't want them. And I know everyone.
Well, and like a point that people brought up in the past, like, is like, people won't have it like in the Ward Bowl. It's like, well, if you're in the top 20, you should have a promo. You came to a tournament at some point to get a promo. Not to mention, they've also had sales where if you ordered $50 $50 order, you'd get a promo. So you could get promos there. So all the people that weren't able to make it in person to tournaments had opportunities to get these promos all across the entire country. So it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I understand you're trying to like include other people, but at the same time you're also hurting the people excluding the people that are supporting your game. Yeah, it's like, okay, we bought all these promos. Like Harry's brought up to me, like, yeah, it sucked that the cards that were for the pre-order for the boss decks, it kind of sucks that we only had a week to get them. But I like that because I am a very like mega collector of this game. I want these cards, so it's like if I only have a week, I'm gonna do what I can to get them. So I get them. I'm like super jacked that I get them, super happy. I make these cool decks with them, and then it's like they're not allowed to turn. It's like, well, what was the point of me pre-ordering the boss decks then? I would have just bought them when they came out. Like, it doesn't hurt me any. Like, what's the difference of me buying it now and when they come out? Like, nothing. Right now, it's like, here, this is an unobtainable thing for you, and I'm doing this because I want you to play the game and enjoy this game and make your day. It's like, I don't know. That's awesome. But then it's like, now if he gets that card he's happy about it. He's jacked. He has fun playing with it, and he's like, "Oh, I want to make a competitive deck. I want to play this card in tournament." Then he goes to make it for the tournament, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, you can't play it." It's like, well, I don't know. That
By the
sucks.
way,
Yeah,
It feels
registration
bad.
tomorrow.
All right,
It feels bad, bro.
I'm gonna take it over, but I think just for one thing that I feel like they're missing for sure is just they probably should have came out with some kind of statement. They could have put a message, just said, "Hey, this is the reason why we're doing this. This is what we think is the best option," and then like this is why. And it's just like I think, yeah, maybe it doesn't help with everything, but like at least it reduces the feel of like why is this such like a sudden change that just came out of nowhere, where it's just like why don't we have some like perspective on it of like what exactly was the point of this? And like you said, we're just left to kind of be like, well, is it just because they feel like everyone deserves to have a fair chance at winning this tournament? It's like, well, if that's the case, those people could have done everything they could to try to get to that point, or like
What about the other tournaments? Like,
yeah, and like I said, it's like I agree with you. It's like I want everyone to have equal play. Like I always bring up about Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like that's kind of what happened to Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like very similar thing. It's just made it very hard for people to stay competitive because they made cards that were generic and they cost a lot of money, and only people that were willing to pay all the money to buy them would buy them, and people who wouldn't, it's like, all right, tough luck, you're out of it. Like you just don't get to play because you're not willing to spend more money. And it's like I don't want Ward to go down that same train, but it's like I also understand, like you're saying, Tyler, it's like these cards, you're the one who's committing your time, your energy to get these things. And at the end of the day, it's like they're still just a card. It's like if you want to tell me there's no counter to there's a promo card that exists right now that you can't counter with cards that aren't promo cards, I disagree with you 100%. I think, and that's where I want to give them credit. I want to give the Ward guys credit. They've made a very good balancing mechanics in their game to prevent any, you can come with a deck that can counter just about any deck, so it's just like
no deck has 0 counters.
And so it's like I guess I'm just I'm curious of where the thought is that these promo cards are just so inherently strong that it's like it just changes.
Well, and you can only have one of them, so it's like even if you want a promo card in your deck, like you might not even get it. Like I don't know, it's already balanced inherently by the fact that there's one.
Yeah.
By the way, Harry, I like that you give the benefit of the doubt for the limited ban list, but you're curious on their decision making for the promos.
Well, I like I said, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Is like I think they have a good understanding of their game. It's like that. I want to get. It's like I want to trust. It's like I'm not like yes I care a lot about this game. This is our game. This is kind of my game I'm committed to right now. So it's like I want the best for the game. But it's like I can understand where maybe their thought is. Like you guys are saying, it's like they probably just see a lot of players. They're like, not a lot of people got these promo cards. Let's try to make it feel like it's like they're not being left out. But again, I just don't think, like, name me a promo card. Like, yes, I know Scarlet, like you can say, oh, Scarlet's problematic, but it's like name me any other card. And it's like even Scarlet, it's like there's such easy counters like Ignite, Burn, kills
Scarlet
it.
has literally 40 counters.
Yeah, there's tons. And so it's just like I guess I'm confused at where like if you look at the limited ban list, it's like tell me that they're like promos aren't stronger than almost any of those cards on the limited ban list of just cards that exist in the game, right? It's just like I don't know. I guess that's my thought about it. But again, I wish there was clarity. I wish that they would have just came out with a statement and just, even if it was just in the Discord, it's like, here, this is our reasoning for it. And it's like, you can like it, you can hate it, but this is why we're doing what we're doing. And I just don't feel like they really did that too well.
The only other thing I'll add to the promos being banned from tournaments is that, I bought most of the boss decks to get most of the promo cards. If I had known promo cards are going to be banned in tournaments, I would have bought like one boss deck. And then I'd play it a bunch, and then when I get tired of it, maybe I'll go buy another one. And then I'd play that a bunch, and then I'd go get another one. And maybe that's it. Maybe I only get 2. Instead of buying most of them up front to get the cards. So it feels a little bit of a rug pull of, you tricked me into buying all of them to get these 1 week special cards that aren't playable.
Yeah.
No, otherwise I would spend my money a little bit differently.
Well, and kind of to wrap the whole thing together, as a competitive player, we don't want to be people that are going to build these strong decks that we want to play that win tournaments, just for months down the road to have it get banned. Like, what is the point of that?
Exactly.
What is the point of playing in pro play? Like, if we all have our special decks that we want to play, why is it when we start winning and we finally optimize our deck to be the strongest that it can be, why is it then a problem that we are running a strong deck? What's the point of anything being strong at that point? Like, what are we going to do? We're going to have a deck become strong, wins 3 tournaments. Now it's limited, or it's fixed, or it's banned. Okay, now there's another deck. 3 tournaments. Like, at what point does it end? When are we going to just leave it be and let things win and be strong to be strong because they're strong?
Counters naturally.
Yeah, and let people
there's
play.
There's no counterplay available. There's no counter decks available because there's no time to figure it out.
All right.
And, it's just, I don't know. It just feels very like playing whack-a-mole when you could just let the moles run around and they will naturally eat each other.
No.
Let's just get your opinion from it, because you're the one that gets hit from this. Like, you're the one that plays a deck where this is a strong deck. So it's like, maybe you weren't going to bring Alkanos to a thing, but how does it feel when you are playing a deck that you like, that you feel like you've optimized to have these cards in it, to suddenly feel like, oh yeah, you can't run this. I mean, you can run the deck, it just won't be as strong. Same thing with Maniac. It felt bad. I literally felt like, it feels stupid, but it's like I felt really sad and lost in the game. It's like, I don't even know what I want to play anymore. Like, I felt generally, it's like, obviously I found new things to play and I still love the game, but it's like I felt sad.
Nice, Harry. You could tell us your feelings.
But it's like, how do you feel about it? Because you're the one that gets hit the most from this.
All right, I'm ready. I'm gonna tell you.
He's gonna say, "I don't give a fuck."
From your perspective, it's like you broke a creature. I guess I wouldn't say a spell really equals a creature. Like, I agree. Like, the feeling is there. It's just like, okay, like Billy was saying, it's like in my head, like when they first kind of like even at the tournament, I remember Joe and everybody was just like, yeah, no, that card is just too good. Like, even Elkanos are like, oh, Elkanos, like we made them too strong. It's just like, and again, it's
metric? By what metric? You have no data to say that.
Billy, I'm talking. You asked me a question. Shut your mouth. I'm going to talk. All right. But no, so like I said, it's like even they were saying at the tournament, they're like, this is too strong, and I went to bat for Marty. It's like, Marty, I'm assuming Elkanos or Marty's idea, and it's just like, no, what he made was a very thematically strong deck that, like, in the right, like Tyler was saying, with the right cards, you can make it pretty competitive. Does it have counters? Yes. Like, it needs Flame of the Infinite. It needs some way for those little creatures to even get value. Otherwise, you're hitting with like 8 damage and you have barely any modifiers, where it's like,
and that's
it's like,
if you can hit,
right, exactly. So it's like there is inherent counters to it. It's not like the deck has no weakness. And it's like, yes, is the mechanic of does it have like probably one of the strongest summoning mechanics? Yes. But is that okay in the game of Ward? I think so, especially when you've balanced it around the fact that the creatures are weak. They don't inherently have strength to them. So, like, yeah, I agree with you. It's like, they didn't hit Elkanos yet, which maybe they will still plan to do that. But it's like, they did hit Wrath, and I think Wrath, like we had to talk about it. I do agree that, like, at some point it could get limited, just because I am worried about, like, how much crap has to go on with Wrath. It's like you have to take all the cards on your field, not shuffle your hand, even though I know a lot of people, like, if I see a common mistake people do with Wrath, they shuffle their whole hand and all their cards. And it's like, you know what I mean? There's just, the only thing I don't like about Wrath is it's just a very clunky mechanic card that a lot of people just, like, don't read all the text, and, like, most people don't even understand what it is, which is a good point to what Billy was saying. People just haven't even played with this card yet. Let people just figure this out. Let's see how terrible it might make a tournament. If it makes a tournament terrible, yeah, get rid of it. And then to go with, like, Judgment, I guess, yeah, Judgment is, like, the most just, like, I'm not sure why it got hit. I mean, I like, again, I'm just trying to be understanding of, like, maybe they just are like, this isn't what we want Ward to be. But that's the only thing I can think of why they would hit Judgment. But again, it's just like, yeah, it does feel a little bad. It's like, is Elkanos unplayable now because these cards are hit? No, I think you could still play it. You're right. It just loses a lot of strength, and it's just like, like you were kind of saying, it's like, why didn't we just get a little longer? See if Elkanos wins again. See what their deck kind of looks like. If it is exactly the same as this one, like, yeah, maybe start keeping an eye on these cards. But like you said, I just don't think there wasn't enough room to really let's see what happens. And, like, I think there's tons of counters to Elkanos and just about any deck that so far we've said is, like, too strong, you know. So it's just like,
Well, yeah, and I mean, what it like sets a precedence for is like in the future you won't like Billy was talking about earlier. Like you won't play decks that you want it. Like you will build a deck and you'll be like, okay, this is not the time to play it because if I play this deck at this next tournament, it will get banned. So I need to wait several, maybe 6 months to 8 months, like till a tournament where you're like, okay, this is the tournament I want to pull it out, and then I get to play it for one tournament. Like I don't know.
yeah,
It's just frustrating. Like it sucks.
I hear you, and I think we've got everybody. You know, we got all of our takes in it. I really do. You know, you can see that this is a big topic, at least for everybody. And I want everyone who's watching the video or anybody who does watch, you know, go in the comments. Really, just tell us like what your feelings are about all these cards and maybe the ban limit list. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna change it for a little while now. So it's like let's just kind of get everyone's take as people watch it. I really want to see in the comments like.
Well, here I just wanted to read out Casey's comment here. He said. He said, things need to ride out for a while, like longer than 6 months, and many tournaments to see how consistent a deck or certain card is performing before a decision should be made on a card that may be too powerful. It's like,
I agree.
Perfectly understandable,
Right, and like I said, the one thing I can say is I've never been in their seat. I've never been in a dev seat where they're making a game, and like I said, so it's like that's all I don't have.
But so this is the other point that I wanted to bring up when you're bringing Alknost. If you ask me, or you ask Billy, or you ask Jesse, or you ask like any of the top 5, even Chris, I don't think any of us will say that the Alknost deck is that strong. Like, yes, it did win a tournament. Maybe I'm being stupid by saying that, or you think I'm an idiot because I lost to it in a tournament. But I don't think it's that strong. I don't think if you sit down, but against a deck that isn't like as good, like if I sit down with a deck that is a pre-built 35 or whatever, I bought a starter deck, and I am going to get smashed so hard, and it is going to feel bad because that deck preys on the fact that you don't have anything to deal with the damage that is coming through. And if I don't have things that are like an optimized deck that can actually deal with the pressure that Alknost puts on, it's almost like in a game where it's just like in bronze, this thing is like the best thing ever. In the higher rank, this thing's nothing because you know how to play against it. And it's like I understand it from like, I don't know, newer players. Yes, when they're playing against Alknost, it feels awful. It feels terrible. In a game against KC this weekend, I literally in one game I made it. He didn't get to play a magic card for the entire game. That feels bad. But guess what? At the top, people do that to me. Right. So that's just how it goes.
It can happen, and I think that, like you said, back to like the Alknost, it's like I want there to be a type of theme of a deck for the game, right? It's like the game needs a deck like that, right? It needs a deck that's like, here, I'm gonna put immense pressure on you early, but if you find a way to like sustain through all that, it's like I start to just get weaker and weaker as the game, right? It's like
every Flame of the Infinite that you kill against the Alknost, and every Alknost that you kill is literally just another tick, and every single removal that you get, the faster that you start removing each of those pieces, the slower they start hitting you and the less that they do. Right. So it's like if you're also running, like if you're playing against Alknost and you're running an Assassin and you literally just pick one of them off, an entire Alknost first turn with like a backstab or something, they are put so astronomically far behind. Like they are losing an entire body every single turn that they would be hitting damage. And you do that again. And you do that again, and right. Flame of the Infinite again. Like I don't know. No, I know. It's not that strong.
We don't have to go deep into it. I get what you're saying, Todd. But you're making a good point. You're making a good argument. And like I said, I think it's time to move on. I think we got our takes. Like I said, people in the comments, they'll talk about it too. But yeah, obviously a lot of different takes, We got a lot of energy with it, and I think our thoughts got across. And like I said, I'm really curious to see what other people think. Moving on, so. Speaking of tournament coming up, I mean, we already kind of talked about it, but again, we got the Untapped tournament is, registration already started. So if you guys are looking to get into the Untapped tournament, you got to register by the 2nd, I think, right? 2nd's the last day. So make sure that if you're going to, go in and register for the Untapped tournament. And like obviously I know
we should probably talk about the tournament that we had on the weekend though.
No, we'll get to it. Is it okay to save it for the end? Yeah. No.
Yeah, no worries.
Don't worry. We'll talk about it. We're getting there. Sometimes I like to switch up the order, just keep it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But anyway, the Untapped tournament, like I said, just make sure everybody gets registered to it. I mean, again, another tournament where everyone all around the world can play at. You know, we were talking about the promos. Even like Billy said, even though the promos don't exist, it's not going to stop me from playing. Like I said, we're all three people here are passionate about this game. I'm sure we're going to try our best to get into the tournament. The only thing that I think might be a little bit of a snag or something that I'm concerned about. I'm not saying it's a problem, but I'm just curious to see how the whole week-long event goes. You know, obviously it's like we've talked about it in the past. It's like,
well, I don't know. What I've said to you, Harry, is like most people like Billy, or I don't even know if Billy, but most people get off at their job at a certain time. Yeah. So it's like when you're guaranteed to be off at 4:30 or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock every day, you're not worried about it. Me and you don't really have that luxury. So it's like I don't think that's going to really be that big of a deal for people because they get to be done work at the same time every day.
Right. It's just something, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. Like you said, we're going to do our best to try to make it. Obviously, not every career works that way, but it's just like I'm glad that at least they're trying to experiment, find what the best version of like what they want these online tournaments to look like, and if that is what it looks like, well, you know what? Like I'm happy for it. Like I'm down. Whatever gets the most people involved into it, and whatever just makes the hypest tournament. It's like that's what I'm for. So it's like I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, does anyone have any other thoughts? Like I said, I'm not too. I think we've kind of covered it a little bit as we've gone on. But is there anything about the tournament that you're looking forward to for the Untapped one?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be there on the Monday, but yeah, it's the same thing for me and Harry both. Like, we'll try and make it each night, but it's like not guaranteed with our job. Like we could get done at 5:30. We could get it done at 11:30. You never know.
Well,
so
I just also think the span of like doing it over multiple days just makes more room for potential errors. But
if one of us gets to the finals, we might have to pull to the side of the road and take a quick hour break or something. Worst comes worst.
Whip out the phone. Don't worry, boss.
Yeah.
This is all part of the day, don't you?
Taking my break for today and tomorrow, just so you know.
But yeah, like I said, it'll be curious to see how it goes. Either way, we'll be tracking it, and I definitely wanna make sure we cover that because, like I said, I think these online tournaments are great. I want as many people to play Ward as possible in an online environment. I mean, in like a tournament environment. I always preach this, but it's just like it's great that they're giving options to everybody. So it's like I want more of these tournaments. Do I want them like the way this one's structured? Maybe not, but like again, if this is the best way, I'm gonna figure out my way to get into the tournament too. So it's like that's kind of my overall thoughts. Billy, you got anything with it or not really?
I'm jacked about the format because it's less of a time sink in one day, and my wife appreciates that. But I guess my only other comment is that I'll be running a deck that if I happen to win, if it gets limited, I won't be upset. So that's my comment about it.
All right.
I have to tailor my deck that way now.
Gotcha. Well, looking forward to that. Like I said, anybody who's going to be in the tournament, I think we're all really excited. I feel like I hope there's a couple new faces, a couple new people that from around the United States or wherever that is able to join, and we can have them add them to our group of tournaments. So it's like that. I'm excited for that. But speaking of tournaments, Tyler, you are right. We did have the Queen's Challenge tournament go on last Sunday. And so that was at Globe. Again, that was it was a Swiss format, best of threes. So to correct you, Tyler, in the last episode, I was kind of right, even though I don't know if that was what we were expecting it to be, because I think we were expecting best of ones, but it ended up being best of threes Swiss format.
I expected best of threes in a bracket.
Oh, in a bracket format? Okay.
Yeah.
But either way, so it ended up being Swiss with best of threes. But, I mean, there was only 55-minute time, which I think when you think about, like, 3 games of Ward, I think that's a little light on the time. I think I would have liked it if maybe it was, like, an hour and a half. But it was a fun tournament. I mean, like I said, a lot of newer players that were from, like, Liedrich, that, like, Casey and Dan, I know they showed up that we haven't seen before. And then a lot of familiar faces. There was Jesse, Jeremy, Michelle. I'm trying to think.
I think Jesse brought one of his.
Oh, yep, Jesse's son Xavier. I think Xavier. Yep, and then Dustin was there. Yeah, there was a lot of familiar faces, and like I said, a couple new ones. But yeah, no, it was definitely a fun tournament. Initial thoughts, I had a bye the first round, and definitely waiting for best of threes when you have a bye. You got a lot of time on your hands. So I was kind of waiting to get in the game. But no, Tyler, how did you feel about the tournament? What was your initial thoughts?
It was fun. I mean, I really didn't enjoy losing to you in the second round, but do be that way sometimes.
Hey, I,
Um,
I, I had to keep the streak going. Sharks are not
yeah,
allowed to
right.
win. Sharks are not allowed to win a tournament.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they will
yeah,
never win
yeah.
a tournament.
Yeah, I'll complain about it again. I'm sick and tired of playing Harry and Chris at every damn tournament ever.
I
Every
don't ever get
single
to play
tournament I
Chris. I
play
really
these
wish I
two.
did, but nah,
I feel
yeah.
like I'm become the villain to Chris every single tournament because I play him and always bump him.
But
But
no.
yeah, ended up
Congratulations to
playing.
Jesse. Jesse ended up taking first in the tournament. Yeah, he did have to play me. It was a very back and forth match. I will say. I underestimated the Undead King. I think this might be like I know the Undead King won the Singleton tournament at the Lock, but I think this might be like the first full deck Undead King win. So Jesse gets to claim that title. But yeah, no, it was a good one. Like you said, I think there was a lot of good games. I tried to get around a lot. I seen a couple vampire decks. I seen what else was they had going on. Like you said, Casey had like the promo package.
He's running like a promo summoner deck.
Oh, Summoner, yeah, that's right.
I
We
played
haven't really
him
seen
first
Summoner.
round.
I thought that was a very interesting, and like the fact that a lot of the promos are pretty easy to bring out with the Summoner. Like I think
Yeah.
that was kind of cool. And Dan brought dot that poison, bleed, all those kind of creatures, and yeah, no, and
Michelle
then there
had
was the Elkanos. Yeah, Michelle, she brought the Elkanos. She was surprised that I didn't bring my Elkanos. She was really hoping that I was going to, so she could have got to do the mirror match. And I said, "Don't
I
worry,
had I had I had perfect shark. Chris had perfect shark.
Mm-hmm. And then Dustin had
He
Drag.
was
I
running
think
an
he
Eternal
he had Eternal
Dragon.
Dragon deck. Yeah, that was pretty
An Eternal
interesting too.
Dragon equipped deck.
Heck yeah. But yeah, no, it was a good tournament. Nice turnout. I'm really excited. Like I actually the lack of assassins at that tournament, I was surprised. Like we went from one
I don't
tournament
think
that had
there's
a
a
bunch of
single one, bro.
assassins.
I don't
Yeah, we
think
went
there's a
from one
single
tournament that
one.
had a bunch of assassins to like a tournament that had like zero assassin. I think people are really starting to think like maybe they're just not as they don't do as much as you want in them. Like I think one assassin in the deck's good, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like people are kind of dropping off the assassin train.
Maybe people
What
will start jumping on the Harry tech.
The hairy
Who
tech.
needs an assassin with backstab when you can play Corn Creeper with backstab?
Yeah, Corn Creeper. Yeah, Billy.
what were you what were you running, Harry? I don't think you mentioned that.
Oh, I was running an equip deck, but it had the Aqua Dragon. I
Oh,
kind of
okay.
I kind of put the Aqua Dragon in for like as like just because of the promo thing, but I also wanted a big creature. But yeah, basically my whole thing of my deck was kind of like okay, I'm gonna use Foggy Night. I had Silence from the Grave. I had ways to kind of shut down my opponent, and then also just like basically get to my equipment and then beat them down with the equipment. I was kind of banking that people weren't going to be running many ways to stop equipment decks, and so it ended
Apparently,
up.
sharks are beasts. Found that
Yeah.
out.
Turns out if you can kill sharks really fast, it's a good thing.
No, turns out when every game everything's at the bottom of your deck. Fucking
Yeah,
sharks.
yeah, yeah.
I actually hate them. I actually hate them.
But yeah, it was a fun tournament, and like I said, I think having just multi different versions of tournaments, I think it. At first, I was really skeptical. I really liked that like standard play would be kind of just like the official way of playing it, but like over time, it's like I'm actually just enjoying that. It's like, hey, sometimes I need to change up the way I view the game, right? Just to like adjust for each tournament, and I'm kind of getting more on that train of like here, let's have
And
more different tournaments.
they just announced another pack crack tournament earlier. Did you see that?
It's
Uh,
a scrimmage.
I
It's
didn't
not
see that.
official.
On Friday. Oh, it's
Ooh,
just like pack crack scrimmage.
hey, honestly, the pack rack's kind of fun with new people too, like just getting more people involved. So it's like if If that's what the
Yeah, but
tournament.
then you do a pack crack, and then everyone complains that your cards are too good, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do here, bro?
Yeah, yeah. People get worked up about it. But anyway, we're getting to the end here, guys. Let's any final thoughts on just Ward in general? What's the thoughts? I know we're a little bit of a heated episode. I know we got a lot of feelings going out. I think the sentiment's very same with just the Ward community in general. Like a lot of the people who have been here for a while, they kind of feel very similar to the whole limited list. But what's any final thoughts we got?
Sure. Yeah. I'm salty because I care about the game. I love the game and I love playing with y'all and made a lot of friends playing it and want to keep doing that. So just want to make sure it's the funnest, fairest, way to play the game. And glad to met y'all playing it and looking forward to the next couple tournaments and leading up to the Ward Bowl.
Heck yeah. Tyler, anything?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As always, what I tell Tommy and Joe, I mean, whenever we say things on this podcast, we just want you guys to know that we don't we don't want you to think that we're like attacking you or we hate you. Like,
Comes
we
from a
actually
place
think,
of love.
we actually
Comes
think
from-
you're we're just very passionate about the game and we care about the game, and obviously it's like we have these kind of almost, it's like people have it's like a knee-jerk reaction to a knee-jerk reaction, you know. It's one of those things where, and that's why we ended up filming today, because obviously everyone was still a little bit heated from, seeing in the news and wanted everything fresh on their minds to come out on the podcast. So yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that it comes from a place of loving the game, passion, and that we're never, you know, like trying to be haters, I guess. Like, we just really do care about the game, and we think we kind of know like kind of what's going on in the game in terms of like card balance. So
I
I
mean,
guess we
like you
try to
said,
offer our opinion.
we played at an elite level, and it's just like we're part of the community, right? It's like I get again. They always push fun and things, and like I totally get the casual. I think casual play is amazing, but again, it's like we're here to voice what the competitive scene, feels. And like again, we are at the top. There might be a point where we're not, but it's like for right now, it's like, hey, we see what the game is at the highest level, and it's like they need our input. It's like if we're not here, they don't get an accurate understanding of what, where everything's at. And so it's like you're right, Tyler. It's like, it's like I don't we aren't hating. We love this game, and it's just like I really want to make sure that it's like, hey, like we're all just trying to do the best for the community and things. And like I guess just the way the stuff is communicated sometimes, I think that's more of the issue in my mind. Like I said, if you give us like a message that just says this is why we're doing what we're doing, like I understand this might affect you guys in some ways, but like we're trying our best to whatever balance the game. It's like just give us something so that we can at least be like, hey, yeah, all right, we get it. You have a plan. It's not just some weird. Right. It's like
Yeah,
it's
a
not
little paragraph that just describes like the reasoning of why. Like, if you guys thought that this card was so problematic that it should be banned after one or limited after one tournament,
just
at least
tell us
give us a
why.
reason. If you
Yeah.
give us a reason and it's a great reason, like, we have nothing to say. You gave us why you did it, and if it makes sense, it
Blade.
makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like we obviously don't. We're not trying to sit here and be like, we need this from you, like you do. Like, we don't. We don't. You don't owe us anything, but we also, like Harry said, we do like we play the game and we do as much as we can for the community, which at the end of the day is something that benefits like the Ward team a lot, just like
Yeah.
you guys benefit us by giving us this game. So
No, for
I don't
sure.
know.
And
I don't
just
never
speak.
want it to come from a place of like ego.
Well, no, and just speaking, like I said, we have one take. We're from the competitive side, but yeah, anybody, if you're watching, just go in the comments again, and it's just another thing we can talk about. It's like, hey, what's your thoughts on it? It's just like where do you think Ward's at? How are you feeling? I know a lot of people come in at different points and times. It's just like it's a great thing, and like I said, I want to get discussion about this. We want to talk about this. I love seeing your guys' comments and responding to them, and like it's like here, it's like we all are trying to give back a little piece of what we can to this game, and so it's just like I agree with you, Tyler.
Well,
100%.
and in the chat brings up like a good point. It's just like, yeah, in Magic, like if they ban cards, like a little while ago they banned Mana Crypt and Dockside Extortionist. That was a very, 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 very big deal in the community. But they at least tried to give some justification on why. Like, people
Right.
lost thousands of dollars that day.
but they at least tried to give a little bit of reasoning why. Was it great? No, but it maybe helped, like, a little bit, you know?
No, exactly. But yeah, again, go in the comments, hit the like and subscribe. Like you said, Tyler, I really want everyone to give their opinion. Like I said, who knows? It might be a little bit before we get another limited list. So it's like it's good to just get where everybody's at with it. But
June 6th.
But yeah, but again, we got a couple tournaments coming up again, so make sure you register for the Untapped. And then, yeah, there's also one tournament coming up at the Curious Crow we'll be talking about in future episodes. So stay tuned, guys. And as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.